6. Good night.
On World News Tonight this Friday, the disastrous legacy of Floyd, pulling people from the floods up and down the coast. The U.S. eases sanctions against one of its greatest adversaries. Is this a dangerous thaw? And a new treatment for a terrifying illness, bringing movement to some people who are paralyzed.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Hurricane turned tropical storm Floyd might have been less than advertised and feared, but today some parts of the east are still faced with a major disaster. As the remnants of the storm drift past Maine, cities and towns up and down the east coast are battling severe flooding. More than a foot of rain fell in some places. Parts of North Carolina were among the hardest hit, and one official there said everything east of Interstate 95 should be considered closed. About a dozen counties are underwater. ABC's Rebecca Chase reports tonight from Rocky Mount.
After 15 inches of rain in a matter of hours, the rivers had nowhere else to go.
We have a disaster like never before in North Carolina.
In a dramatic rescue early this morning, a truck driver was airlifted to safety minutes before his tractor trailer was engulfed in water. In all, 1,500 people were trapped by the floodwaters, and the military was called in to help. Residents and rescuers alike this far inland were caught off guard by the enormous amount of water in Floyd's wake.
I don't think anyone was prepared for the flood. We were expecting wind, but we weren't expecting this kind of flooding in this area.
It's never been this bad before. When Fran came, it was about half. The water was about half this far up. But this one's a lot worse than Fran.
East of Interstate 95, entire communities have been cut off. Thousands of businesses and homes are surrounded by water. Roads have been turned into rivers. In Rocky Mount, Tarboro, and Kenly, Goldsboro, and Smithfield, people are trying to salvage what they can of homes and property. For many, there isn't much left.
They told us we didn't need flood insurance, so we didn't get it. Now we've lost everything.
For many in North Carolina, said one official, the worst has just begun. Most of the main highways are closed, stranding drivers, some for 2 days now, up and down the coast. Nearly 500,000 North Carolinians are still without electricity. Today, the governor and the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency flew over the area to begin to assess the damage. But authorities are worried because the rivers haven't even crested yet. It could be days before the water recedes. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
As the pictures from North Carolina demonstrate, Floyd's damage was greatest where its rains were the heaviest. By the time the brunt of the storm reached New Jersey, it was no longer a hurricane, but it dropped torrential rains there as well. And so there is flooding there as well. ABC's Bill Blakemore reports from Bound Brook, New Jersey.
The rescues began soon after midnight as runoff pushed the Raritan River over its banks. People signaled for help from any dry spot they could find. By dawn, clear skies showed riverside towns under 10 to 15 feet of water. Dozens of private boats joined in the rescue effort, searching everywhere for stranded people and even stranded pets.
Come on, come here.
Thank you so much.
More than 700 people were rescued in this one town. Jackie Perrine thought she'd wait with her dog above her second-floor apartment.
And then when the water just went over the porch and started coming up towards the third floor.
That was a big concern of ours, too. We weren't sure what was going to happen.
A neighbor in a canoe rescued her.
I think I'm moving. This is the second flood.
With fire trucks blocked by the flooding, a fire in a Main Street motorcycle shop spread unchecked. Helicopters tried to douse it with buckets usually used for forest fires.
Can you please stop that guy immediately, all right? He's dropping on our people.
By the time a small pumping craft could be floated in, 5 shops were gone. All the other shops on Bound Brook's Main Street were filled to the ceilings with brown, greasy water.
The damage here is not just from the flooding and the fires. The pervasive smell here is of gasoline and other pollutants mixed in with the floodwaters, which will take at least 2 days before they go down. That smell will be washed into every nook and cranny.
By mid-afternoon, all the people on rooftops had been rescued, but officials sent more boats into the flooded streets. With phones and electricity cut up and down the river, it was the only way to be sure they'd reached everyone who needed help. Search and rescue operations will continue into the night. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, Bound Brook, New Jersey.
It is still too early to determine what the cost of the damage from Floyd will be. Estimates now put it between $1 and $5 billion, much less than the $15 billion predicted earlier. As we've been saying, some of the greatest costs are coming not from damage, but from lost business. The city of Daytona Beach, Florida, estimates it lost $26 million because of the city's evacuation. At the White House today, the United States announced it is ready to do business with one of the world's most isolated countries, North Korea. Even though the two countries are still technically at war, the U.S. will now allow direct commercial flights between the two countries and bilateral trade for the first time since the Korean War. In exchange, North Korea has promised not to test a ballistic missile that could strike Alaska and Hawaii. There are those who suggest that North Korea won this easing of sanctions by playing a familiar game of blackmail. Here's ABC's Mark Litke.
A bankrupt nation still battling the effects of a 4-year famine, still dependent on massive quantities of international food aid. Yet, again and again, North Korea lashes out at those who've provided the most, sparking a deadly sea battle with South Korea, launching a ballistic missile over neighboring Japan, developing newer missiles capable of reaching the United States. So why does a country so desperate for aid risk it all with such defiant, aggressive actions, as if determined to bite the hand that feeds it?
Well, it's because it's worked.
South Korean analysts say they see a regular pattern. The more the North has threatened the outside world in recent years, the more aid it has received. When it appeared to be working on a nuclear weapons program, the world provided $5 billion to build a new energy plant. The threat of missile tests brought a high-level U.S. diplomatic visit.
It's a sort of blackmail. It's a blackmail, and the key thing is that it's worked.
Of course, no one really knows for sure what the secretive North Korean regime is up to, but even in its weakened state, this much is clear. The country still has the world's 5th largest army, still demands fanatical loyalty from its people, and is always capable of making the rest of the world sit up and take notice. Mark Litke, ABC News, Seoul.
And for more on this story, we are joined by ABC's John Cochran at the White House. John, how does the administration respond to these charges that we were effectively blackmailed into lifting the sanctions against North Korea?
Well, the White House spokesman calls those charges grossly inaccurate. However, certainly some Republicans believe it. The chairman of the House International Relations Committee calls it extortion. And privately, some U.S. officials have told ABC News they suspect the North Koreans never had any intention of test firing any more missiles. That it, in fact, was kind of a hoax, a bluff. If it was a bluff, it worked, Charlie.
And what's the second question that I have there? How do you differentiate this case in North Korea from the sanctions against Cuba, which remain in place?
But Charlie, Cuba is a very special place because of all the Cuban-American voters in South Florida. Bill Clinton wants to do nothing that's going to cause Al Gore political problems in Florida. Beyond that, though, a senior White House official told me, look, if you use a carrot with the North Koreans, it may improve their behavior. It wouldn't work with Castro. He'd be as ornery as ever. It's better to keep using a stick on Castro.
All right, thanks. John Cochran at the White House tonight. Overseas today, Indonesian troops began leaving East Timor, ending a 24-year occupation of the territory. Many militia fighters who have been terrorizing the population are leaving as well. They are making way for a United Nations peacekeeping force that will start trickling in tomorrow. The UN says many Timorese people are now starving, and Australian planes today began dropping rice and blankets into East Timor's jungles. In Russia today, officials said they have arrested 11,000 people in a massive crackdown on crime after the recent wave of bombings there. Many of those arrested have nothing to do with the bombings. The police appear to be singling out people who look like they are from the republics of Chechnya and Dagestan, where the Russian government is fighting rebels who want independence, and the government claims the rebels are behind the bombings. When we come back, some of the day's other news, new details about the church shooting in Texas, and struggling with multiple sclerosis, a promising new treatment.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Seville STS.
This summer, put Cadillac Seville's amazing performance to the test. and get a lesson in power and control. Then put our lease to the test. Lease a new 99 Seville for just $549 a month. Call for complete lease details. You'll even get a 3-year SmartCare basic maintenance contract at no extra charge. So drive a Seville today and put Cadillac to the test.
Mother, time to scour the countryside.
Ooh, my constipation keeps me up all day, drowsy all night.
Colace! When constipation keeps you from your routine, Colace will get you flying right again.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
One word convinced me an herbal could help me maintain emotional balance. Centrum.
Centrum St. John's wort is different. Some brands can lack natural ingredients. Only Centrum uses Pharmaprint for a more complete herbal every time. Centrum herbals, each naturally more complete.
Oatmeal lovers, book a chapel in Vegas. If you have a passion for moist, chewy oatmeal and satisfying chunks of real fruit, then say I do to new Nutri-Grain Fruitful Squares. Fill up and you're good to go.
Sure, my arthritis hurts, but I don't like strong-smelling rubs, so I rub in odor-free Aspercreme.
Clinically proven to relieve minor arthritis pain in minutes.
It works well without the smell.
Aspercreme, clinically proven odor-free pain relief without aspirin.
There is new information tonight about what went on inside the church in Fort Worth, Texas, where 7 people were shot dead 2 days ago. 7 others were wounded before the gunman shot himself. The grieving process, which has become so familiar after mass shootings, is now underway. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
In Fort Worth's churches, once thought to be sanctuaries from evil, and at candlelight vigils, disbelieving friends and relatives are now trying to move on.
I felt some anger, but now I feel that we need to forgive.
Today, the Fort Worth police disclosed that at least 2 videotapes exist of the shooting, taken by those in attendance at the choir practice. Chief Ralph Mendoza said no victims are shown on the tape, but the gunman, Larry Ashbrook, is clearly visible.
What it does show very clearly is the methodical manner in which the gunman, once he was in the sanctuary, randomly stood there and fired shot after shot after shot.
What he saw of Ashbrook, the chief said, made him angry.
To us that he's kind of pacing a little bit back and forth, and he is just holding his hand out with the gun in it and just slowly, methodically picking things to shoot at.
The first of the funerals are planned for tomorrow. 4 of Ashbrook's victims remain hospitalized, including young Justin Laird.
Teammates of Justin's from the junior varsity football squad are now wearing his number, 55, as a tribute to the boy who turned 16 on Wednesday, the day a gunshot to his spine left him paralyzed. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Fort Worth.
On the money tonight, another wave of companies is going public. In the next 6 weeks, 100 companies will try to raise money by offering stock to the public. Some of them postponed their stock offerings when the market for internet stocks turned down this summer. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up a bit more than 66 points to close at 10,803. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up just under 63 points. And shares of the internet auction house eBay were down 7% today after a number of major technology firms, including Microsoft, Dell Computer, and Lycos, said they were setting up a new auction network to challenge eBay's dominance in the field. When we come back, walking again. New hope for people with a terrible illness.
Great news for all you cats. Chuck!
Marv, we can't buy this stuff ourselves.
I'm out. The Whiskas you love in a can now comes in the new Flavor Lock pouch.
Whiskas. What cats want.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and look natural? Get Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell. With
just for men gel.
Brush in and in 5 minutes, gray is gone.
No one can tell, just for men gel.
Last year, more people who owned a GM car or truck came back to buy another GM. More than any other company in America. It's the highest loyalty in the industry, which speaks not only to the quality of GM cars and trucks, but to the people who drive them.
Welcome to My Mailboxes, etc. You know, this may look like a regular mailbox, but let me tell you the secret. You get a street address, not just a P.O. box number. That means we can sign for your FedEx shipments and other packages. You get an entire support staff. Where else are you going to be able to call and check your mail? I mean, come on, who's going to do that for you? We'll also forward that mail anywhere in the world. Mailboxes, etc. We're making business easier. We're making life easier. Can your mailbox do that?
Fortunately for Millie, Dr. Espinoza was in the office early, while someone else was drafting the marketing plan to sell his home. At 11, he was making his rounds, instead of visiting his title company. At 1 p.m., he was giving Pam good news, instead of checking for disclosure documents. And by the time Dr. Espinoza wrote the day's last prescription, someone else was at his home meeting a prospective buyer. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're Realtors. Real estate is our life.
Medical news, a promising study out today about a terrifying type of illness. Multiple sclerosis and central nervous disorders affect hundreds of thousands of Americans. They can lead to paralysis, slurred speech, and vision problems, and there is no cure. But today, researchers at the Mayo Clinic said they have developed a treatment that may be able to help people with the most severe cases. ABC's Jackie Judd has the details.
This is Andrew Grant after an acute attack of multiple sclerosis.
Try to hold it there.
Completely helpless, unable to move.
I think the darkest moment for me was when Andy became totally immobile.
This is Andrew Grant 2 years later. What happened in between was an experimental treatment called plasma exchange. Grant and 18 other victims of severely damaged nervous systems had blood removed. A machine isolated the cells and extracted the plasma, the liquid part of the blood. Plasma from healthy donors was purified until it contained just a single protein called albumin. The donor plasma and the original cells were then mixed and put back into the patients. This exchange was repeated 7 times over a 2-week period.
We had a robust, major effect in 40% of the patients. You wave goodbye.
In those who were helped, the effect was almost immediate. On day 14, Grant could get out of bed and walk with assistance. 6 months later, he could walk on his own.
When I felt my foot move, I seen it, I put a big old smile on my face.
Doctors are not entirely sure why the treatment succeeded. An early theory is that the patient's plasma contained harmful antibodies, which allowed the disease to progress at a rapid pace, and that the replacement plasma stopped that process.
I think it's just dramatic how just touching the plasma alone without doing anything to the cells can affect an immediate major recovery from a neurological disability.
For now, doctors say this treatment is only for the most acutely affected victims who have not found relief from the traditional treatment of high doses of steroids. But it is promising. For Andrew Grant and for the other patients, life is so much better.
Have fun.
Jackie Judd, ABC News.
3 other points. Researchers have extended the testing beyond the original group and so far have had the same rate of success. In order to get a better understanding of why this treatment works, researchers have saved the old plasma of the successful patients and are trying to figure out now what they may have had in common that caused the disease. And as of now, this treatment is for people only with the most severe cases. There is still much to learn. And for more on the treatment, you can log on to our website, abcnews.com. When we come back, beauty and good old American values, a celebration that helped unite the country, Miss America.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
Watching Wayne Gretzky, you'd never know the great one could have common arthritis.
When my doctor told me that my aches and pains could be the early signs of arthritis, I was really surprised.
It's not unusual. Millions of Americans under 50 have arthritis. Millions more are at risk. What should you look for? Risk factors include an active occupation, past injury, family history, age, and weight. Early signs of common arthritis include joint pain and stiffness. Well, what do you do for your arthritis pain?
I take Tylenol.
The first choice of doctors for arthritis pain is the medicine and Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. Tylenol works as well as the leading arthritis prescription, but it's much gentler on your stomach. So Wayne, how does it feel to be retired?
Pretty good. These days it's fun to be knocked around.
Could your pain and stiffness be the early signs of common arthritis? Talk to your doctor, like Wayne Gretzky did.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Tylenol Arthritis.
50 is beautiful, and to stay that way, Pro Vital Perfecting Moisturizer. It evens out skin tone with a hint of sheer color, so you're radiant, glowing. Pro Vital from Olay, proven to be why women over 50 look so wonderful.
When it comes to your health, never compromise, even when choosing a laxative. You need one that's strong enough to work overnight, but also gentle. Try doctor-recommended Dulcolax. It's both strong and gentle. It even has a special comfort coating to protect your stomach. In fact, doctors recommend Dulcolax most, more than Correctol and Senecot combined. Don't compromise. Get strong, get gentle, get doctor-recommended Dulcolax. And for strong and gentle relief in minutes, get Dulcolax suppositories.
Ask your doctor about Viagra. You've dreamed of opening your own place. Now stay healthy and energetic and enjoy it. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver. Its age-essential nutrients may help maintain your immunity and help keep your heart healthy. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver.
What if Dr. Frankenstein's experiment had worked? And instead of being ugly and ruthless, the monster was handsome and charming. Would the villagers still have hunted him down? Or would they have invited him in and introduced him to their daughters? Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, nicely equipped at 17.7. It's alive.
Tonight, does a hidden killer lurk on college campuses? What you may not know could protect your children from this deadly threat. A report for every parent.
It just makes me sick to my stomach when I think that Evan didn't have to die.
2020 tonight.
Finally tonight, here she comes. The 79th Miss America pageant will be held this weekend in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The value of the pageant is certainly in the eye of the beholder. For critics, Miss America is a relic of a time when women were objects. For fans and legions of young girls in high heels, Miss America is an icon. Here's Peter Jennings.
Tonight, Miss America.
I remember I was shaking from head to foot, scared.
I can't believe it. I'm shocked. And, you know, my hands are over my face, and I'm crying, and I'm going, oh.
A pretty girl is like a melody that haunts moonlight and day.
In 1921, the town fathers of Atlantic City, New Jersey went looking for a way to keep summer vacationers around after Labor Day. One of them hit upon an idea for a contest celebrating American beauty. Not a bawdy girly show, but a dignified competition, serious in its purpose, entertaining though that purpose would be. The first contest, featuring just 8 participants from neighboring cities, was an instant hit, and with that, an Atlantic City September tradition was born. A year later, in 1922, when Alice Nelson competed, it was a larger, more highly publicized contest.
Of course, I was disappointed that I didn't quite make the grade, but I just finally decided, my mother said, well, you're just lucky to have been included.
Ain't she sweet? See her coming down the street now.
Throughout the 20s, the popularity of the show surprised even its producers. America, it turned out, was only too ready for a contest, displaying a unified American image of wholesomeness and beauty.
There had been all sorts of tensions during World War I. After the war was over, there was labor unrest. There was a huge Red Scare. There was a post-war recession. What the Miss America pageant allowed Americans to do was to celebrate being part of one great country.
In the late 1920s, the contest was disbanded. Many people were finding it inappropriate for women to be seen in bathing suits. But it came back in the mid-1930s, incorporating a new talent element to the pageant and eventually a scholarship program. Throughout the rest of the century, Miss America continued to be a touchstone for change. In 1945, the first Jewish Miss America, Bess Meyerson, only months after Allied soldiers had uncovered the German atrocities against the Jews. In the 1960s and 70s, the pageant was under pressure from feminists.
The Women's Liberation Group was burning their bras on the boardwalk.
In 1984, the pageant finally crowned its first black Miss America, Vanessa Williams, only to seize the title back from her when it was discovered she had posed in the nude for pictures. And only this week, another twist and turn. The organizers first voted to accept divorced women and women who'd undergone abortions, and then, reacting to pressure, softened their stand by saying they would study the matter. Throughout its history, there's always been pressure to keep the Miss America image right where it's always been.
The great American tradition of wholesomeness, good values, good morals, all the good things about America.
Today, just as in 1921.
You can find out more about the history of the Miss America pageant on our website, thecentury.com. And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later on 2020, the exclusive premiere of lost footage from the Beatles. And on Nightline, how one man survived under the rubble of the Turkish earthquake. I'm Charles Gibson. For all of us at ABC News, have a good weekend and good night.
Sunday on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts.
Bill Bradley closes in on Al Gore. We'll talk to Bradley in an exclusive interview. ABC Sunday.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCNews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
Only ABC can bring you the thrill of victory and the agony of high heels. It's Miss America 2000 with a whole new attitude, a special performance by 98 Degrees, and swimsuit rules more daring than ever. Live from Atlantic City, Donnie and Marie host the 79th annual Miss America pageant, Saturday 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.
Everybody needs to get on the ball and tell them to speed things up.
To speed things up, first they have to slow things down, and that means problems this weekend for many Middle Tennessee motorists. Good evening, everyone. If you think driving Nashville's obstacle course of construction is bad now, just wait.
In just a matter of minutes, it's going from bad to worse. News 2's Melissa Penry is along Interstate 65 tonight to tell us what's going to happen. Melissa?
Well, Ann and Bob, we are standing at the Armory Drive overpass looking down Interstate 65 south toward Harding Place. And this stretch of road is the stretch of road that will be shutting down to 2 lanes all weekend long for construction. Now, right now, they still have 3 lanes going. It's supposed to start at 6 o'clock. They still have 3 lanes going right now, but let's show you what that is doing with the News 2 mobile city cam. Taking a look at the traffic that is coming into this mess, it's almost at a standstill. Now, true, this is the end of rush hour, but imagine what this is going to be like when they actually shut this down to 2 lanes. Now, they're doing this weekend to try to get construction here completed as quickly as they can without interfering too much with the regular weekday rush hour traffic.
It's a sign of the times. Move over.
Oh, I hate it. It's terrible.